My money don't jiggle, it folds. You need to super chat me to pay for my rolls. I need a lot of cheddar to meet my goals. I got a lot of comebacks to dish up to the trolls. 5'10" in my Kia Ceed. I got all the fragrances a man could need. Now it's time to relax, no fear. So pass another beer. You screw with me and you're messing with the wrong dude. I really hope you like the taste of hospital food. Please excuse me, I don't mean to appear rude, but I know what your mama looks like nude. Send another super chat to buy me a Rolex. They cost a lot of money and I want a gold one next. If it's not a live video, then send me a super thanks. I need to put some dollars in my offshore Swiss banks.
Ticker's going down like a bag of rocks.
Like a... JT, fantastic, thank you.
Oh, this might be it.
Get out of the way!
Good
job.
King and Tickers getting that clock.
Down goes
Mr. Smelly getting what's coming to him. Watch out. The maniac mullet has risen.
Smelly eliminated!
Oh my god. Mr. Smelly has eliminated himself by a complete accident.
Hello and welcome back to the show. Today we're going to have a look at my top 10 really masculine fragrances, real men's fragrances for real, manly fragrances for real men or something like that, guys. Great to be back. Guys, I've done a few gossipy videos lately. Most people have really liked them. I've really enjoyed doing them. I have noticed a little bit of backlash in the comments, and I'm sorry if you don't enjoy that content. Let me just explain to you why I do stuff like that, because I think you're owed an explanation, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, okay? I've been doing my channel for 6 years. I'm still very passionate and inspired about fragrances. I love fragrances. But if we look around the YouTube fragosphere, it's getting a little dull out there. People are just regurgitating what seems to work for others. The same old lists, top 10 or best this or best date or whatever. Everything else doesn't seem to get very many views, and understandably, people double down on that formula. But it's a tad bit repetitive and boring. Sometimes a list, which I'm doing today, is fantastic. But if I just did that, I get bored, guys. I'm human. I get bored making the same kind of stuff over and over again. And sometimes I do find it titillating to look at what's happening with Jeremy Fragrance or even the Amber Heard case, because Johnny Depp's a big face of fragrances. So there's a tenuous link. Forgive me. You don't have to watch everything. But if you like the fact that, give me some credit, very few other people try something different in the fragrance world. They just try the usual formula. These are good to get a date. These are good to meet girls. I'm a hot girl. If you want to meet me, wear these. At least I try something different, because I talk about what happened with Jeremy Fragrance's ex. Oh my God, what's happening with this gate or this scandal. I know I'm not perfect, but I try to be different. You've got to give me that. Okay, let's get into the list, guys. Okay, so we're going to talk about 10 really great, 10 or so amazing masculine fragrances that should work in many different occasions. So let's start off with one I really must recommend. Gravitas Pour On, my brand, Norton & Wilson, link in the description. We conceived this as the ultimate aromatic fougere with hopefully a modern twist. So it has a lot of the things you love about old school smells. We've got mandarin, we've got lavender, we've got oak moss, we've got patchouli. We've got a little twist of vanilla in there and some spices too. So it has a little bit of that modern niche je ne sais quoi and the magic of perfumer John Stephen behind this one. So an amazing old school feeling but not dated masculine fragrance, ridiculously low priced for the quality of the composition and the ingredients. I know that for a fact. Check it out, link in the description. That's enough self-promotion. Let's whiz through this list a little bit snappy today, okay? Fourio Bogart, amazing. You can get it for about £79 in the UK. It is a rich powerhouse, everything but the kitchen sink kind of note listing. I'm not going to list all the notes because it gets a bit tedious. These have a lot of notes. Old school fragrances tend to. It's a bit like things like Coros from Yves Saint Laurent. It's a bit like Lapidus Prom. It's actually closer to Lapidus Prom, but to me, higher quality. It has this animalic, leathery undertone, definitely an animalic kind of civet, castoreum, musky twist, and a freshness and a complexity with floral notes, with woods, with spices, and this sort of subtle hint of warming sweetness, but overwhelmingly very masculine. Beast Mode fragrance, amazing old school bottle, 1988 release. Don't miss Fourio. I'll keep going on about it until you've all bought it. Don't forget to use my code Mr15 for 15% off at myfragrancesamples.com. That's where I would go if I was in the USA or Canada to get fragrance samples. Amazing range of niche fragrances and designer, and it's run by a great guy called Mark, who I know. Go there. The link is in the description. Use my code Mr15. Next up, we're going to go for Bijan Men. I think this was a 1986 release or something like that. Mid-80s anyway. Amazing. Much drier and a bit fresher than that one. It's kind of sharp and green and citrusy in the opening, and it also has a dry, arid, woody base to it with, again, a very complex melange of herbs and spices, sort of like kitchen herbs, like your rosemary and hints of basil and things in there, and vetiver in the base. Really, really classy. So dry, fresh, woody, old school masculine, nothing too animalic, unlike the Fourio. Very affable, great work scent for the more mature gentleman. And more mature, I mean, either in years or in your outlook and ethos of life, or the way you dress and put, conduct yourself in a mature manner with Bijan Men. What were they thinking with the bottle design? Discuss. You could have a lot of fun with that behind closed doors. Guys, moving on. Xeryus. Givenchy Xeryus, 1986. Amazing aromatic fougere. Absolutely stunning fragrance. Okay, yes, it's fresh. Yes, it has the usual things like lavender. Yes, it has citrus accords. Yes, it has herbs. It has a twist of incense, giving it this just slightly avant-garde, adventurous thing. And I think the bottle design has an Art Deco theme, or did, with the vintage, but the modern reissue is really, really good. So very kind of potent. The performance isn't amazing, but the effect the fragrance has on me is potently masculine and imposing, but also very refined and classy and just subtly different. Do check out Xeryus from Givenchy, the modern reissue. I think it's fine. Others will say it's a shadow of its former self. Well, it's close enough for me, guys. I've got to be honest. Next up, Mousse Illuminee from Rogue Perfumery, one of the rare niche ones that I'm putting in this list. So with this one, the perfumer, Manuel Cross, he's not IFRA compliant, so he uses things like oak moss in proportions that you're not allowed to use in the things that get an IFRA bureaucratic sticker, whatever, okay? But so this makes it really good, okay? It's like if you got a new bottle of Polo Green made in 1983 and opened it, it might smell like this. It is similar to Polo Green Ralph Lauren. It's very green and piney. It has a kind of forest fern-like overall feel and a magical twist of real oak moss. So if you like things like Polo Green, you like green, rugged, masculine fragrances that are fresh, very long but lasting, very potent, very old school and conservative in a nice way. Really charming fragrance. Mousse Illuminee. Not the cheapest thing in the world, but not that expensive for niche, if you know what I mean. Next up, Eucharis. Trumper Eucharis, mentioned in the James Bond novels. Again, dry and woody. Citrusy also in the opening. I think there's a little bit of lavender in there, and a lovely twist of blackcurrant, giving it this just slightly dark gothic twist. It was first released in 1912. It's very, very grown up, very stuffy, very pleasant to my nose, but it won't please everybody. You've really got to like your refined, gentlemanly, old school fragrances. Eucharis, absolute classic bottle design. Don't miss that one if you really like your old school. Eventually, like me, took me a while to pick it up. So glad I did in the end, guys. Okay, moving on. Next up, I'm going to share with you a couple of aftershave splashes today, and a great one is Alt Innsbruck, 1953 release. Thank you to the crazy man that is Miami Cuddles for urging me to get this. He was right. Cuddles was right. It is fresh. It has a menthol thing, which you may not care for, eucalyptus-like. That's to do with the shaving thing. You can either splash it or put it in a decant and spray it. It also has a definite musky, fresh fougere feel, a little bit like Brut from Fabergé, but with a twist of tobacco and mint, which just elevates the whole thing to a new level. It feels a little bit stronger than my Brut Splash aftershave. It's really, really nice, really old school. Smell like a guy from 1953. Well, I really enjoy splashing that one on sometimes. It's quite potent, I find, for an aftershave. I'll do one more aftershave quickly. Floid. This is a Spanish. Let me get this right. Spanish? Are they Italian or Spanish? No, they're made in Spain. Let's go Spanish. Floid Dopo Barba, and this is the genuine. There's another one called Vigoroso. I don't know why, but this was the one I'm talking about. Again, very musky, very similar to Brut, but a little bit better. And this one, instead of having tobacco, it has a more of a warm, musky amber undertone, a bit like the colour there is a little bit orange. Almost a juicy, just a sort of sweet amberishness underlying a majorly, such a bad wrong word, but never mind, a very barbershop-esque feel. It is literally made really for use in barbershops and by men who love their shaving splashes. 400ml for insane prices. Just fun to have on your shelf. Love the Floid Dopo Baba. Dopo Baba. Okay, moving on, guys. We're going to talk about Duc de Vevon's L'Extrême, the other niche selection, apart from my own offering, and Mousse Illuminee. Great stuff. If you like Dracar Noir by Guy Laroche, it's like the modern version of that, but a little bit better. Opens up fresh, green, lavender, oak moss base, just a little bit more class, just a little bit more refinement to my nose, but I have to say rather similar Coincidentally, so maybe let's allow them that. Duc de Vevon's L'Extrême, a bit like a better version of Drakkar Noir. And that is a really good thing to me. I really, really enjoy that. I got through quite a bit when I can't think what to wear. Works any season. Performance on all of these I find okay. I get bored talking about performance. None of them are terrible. Fourio is beast mode. The rest are more in the averagely good mode level. Mousse Illuminee also kind of very, very strong. Yeah, beast mode. Gravitas, I think, above average. Halston Z14, superb. A bit like Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather. Definitely has a leather note in there. Also a little bit like, not Tuscan leather, Italian cypress. Forget that. A bit like Tom Ford's Italian cypress, this one. It's fresh, yet it has this masculine, rugged, leathery undertone. The opening actually reminds me, and other people on Fragrantica, of Dior's Eau Sauvage. You get that nice kind of green, citrusy bergamot with a bit of a jasmine thing in the opening, which is really intriguing when it's been blended with that Italian cypress-esque mix of cypress and leather for this rugged, masculine 70s vibe. It's really great. It's a great cheapie. Halston Z14. We are moving towards the end of the list, and I think maybe my last choice here is gonna be this one, guys. Tutti Frutti. It's Cerruti. Get some Cerruti. Great fougere. Nice crisp citrusy opening. Again, a lot of the typical expected players in there. Crisp woods, subtle spices, some green kitchen herbs, and a beautiful woody vetiver type dry down, but I find it just has a bit more of a citrus accent than some of the other fougères in this list, and I find it really, really great. If this is a little bit too imposing for you to want to wear every day to work or a date, this is superb. Don't think you're going to smell like an old man. I think young ladies might like this one, but not many of them talk to me anymore. But that's life. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Please hit the subscribe button if you like my content. At least I'm different. Give me that, even if you don't love all of it. And we will see you in the next video. Remember, life sometimes may stink, but we can always smell good. And whatever you are doing in your life, let us project, guys. Bye-bye. If you'd like to see an extra video from me every week, sign up to my Patreon group. It's only $2 a month. There's a link in the description. And we have loads of interesting stuff going on there. I do a lot of fragrance stuff, of course, but I also talk about some other things to do with my life. It's really fun, and I hope to see you in there. As I say, you can follow the link in the description, or just go to Patreon and type in Mr. Smelly 1977.